Hey everybody, we're back for another day of coverage here. You can see me walking into the hall. So I got a couple of quick videos of some components and brief overviews of things that I captured in the hall. And then I'll talk some more in detail about things that I got to play during day one of Gen Con 2019. The first thing that we're looking at here is Catan Starfares. This is the new edition of Starfares Catan. They were setting up to do a demo for some folks, but they let me take some quick video of the new components and everything. They said there are some rules updates and some changes and things, and obviously there's upgraded components and so on. You can see a little bit of the turn structure here and the cost to build things. We'll take a look at some of the cool characters and these awesome gigantic spaceships. And stuff like that. So this is coming, I think, October, November time frame. You can see some more of the plastic bits and stuff. I don't know what the MSRP is going to be. I'd guess about $100 for all of this plastic and cards and upgraded components and things. And then we're going to take a quick look at one of the ships. This is when you start to upgrade bits into it, you're actually going to attach components to it, which is pretty cool. One cool thing about this, I'm really looking forward to this game. So you'll definitely see some more coverage of it sometime soon. The next thing we're going to take a look at here is the new adventure game stuff from Cosmos. You can see there's two editions here, the Dungeon and Monochrome. Here's some of the example components here. Again, this is a lot like their Exit games in some way, but there's not as many puzzles. The gal who was talking to me there said there is some puzzling, but not too much. You're going to be going through like this adventure book, which I'm going to flip through real quick, not to spoil, but there's going to be entries and things to read, all Tales of the Arabian Nights and stuff like that. So there's going to be two games to start off with, and then there's going to be a couple more coming down the road. But this looks pretty interesting to me. And like I said, I've enjoyed the Exit games. I enjoy the Unlock games, and something that's a little bit more story-driven, narrative-driven is going to be up my alley. And it looks like it's going to be a nice little affordable package as well. And she did relate to me that these are going to be replayable. You're not going to be destroying any components like you do in Exit. And she said you could probably play through it 4 or 5 times with the various alternate endings and different story arcs and the different paths that you can take on your adventure. So very much looking forward to the adventure series from Cosmos. Next couple of things are going to be a little Warhammer related. So I did swing by the Cubicle 7 booth to talk about Warhammer Age of Sigmar RPG. They were pretty busy. They said that obviously it's not coming till next year. They're busy with Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, getting everything rolled out for that, as well as they've now acquired, of course, Wrath and Glory from, I can't remember who had it before, but they are had to kind of dovetail their schedule to account for both of those RPGs. I'm going to try to swing back there later. He said he'd probably have some more details for me, but like I said, their booth was pretty slammed. And then I got a chance to look at some of the new Beast Dreadfane stuff for the Warhammer Underworlds. They're sorry about the glare inside this case here. So these are some painted models from the new Underworlds starter set there. Some of the Beastmen and Beast folks. Again, sorry for the glare. It was pretty bad inside the top of this case here. And so just wanted to kind of show you some of the models and stuff. The glare's really bad over here. I'll try to zoom in a little bit just to give you kind of a sense there. But the models do look very nice, obviously. And, so these should be pretty fun to paint. And then I also got some footage of the new Aeronautica Imperialis stuff, which is kind of like their X-Wing style board game. And these are the painted up different planes and stuff. You can see the Space Marine there kind of for scale. So these look pretty good. And I just wanted to kind of capture these here. They also had the boxes for some of the new Barnes & Noble exclusive releases there, but I didn't see any of the actual models here. And here is the actual Saurian Blood Bowl team. So folks are interested in that. I figured I'd capture a little bit of video. So this is the new stuff they had. They had some demos and things going, but this is what they had to show here. So now let's jump into some stuff I got a chance to play. I got a chance to play this game from Fantasy Flight Final Hour a couple of times. I posted kind of a quick overview video, a few minutes to kind of go over the rules, give you an idea there. But I really, really enjoyed this game. It was very different than I expected. It's obviously Arkham themed, but it's really a cooperative deduction game. And you're trying to sort of puzzle out and clue out what some of the hidden icons are. And the card play and everything is very, very different. So what you do is you actually have a deck of your own cards for your own character. You just flip the top card up, you look at the top action and the bottom action, you kind of get a ballpark of what you want to do, and then you put a priority card on top of it. And then everybody does that until you have 4 cards on the table, and then you reveal your actions in priority order. And the first two cards that get activated, you do the top part, which is like beat 'em up, smash 'em up stuff. And then the bottom action will also go. So the last 2 cards that get activated, the bottom action will go, and then that will usually allow you to investigate, which will allow you to reveal more clue tokens, but then usually the monsters will activate too, and that's bad for you. So it's a very interesting thing. There's not a whole ton of communication. Like the communication sort of slowly evolves over the round, and then you have this sort of last-ditch effort that you can do to kind of solve the clue with those same priority cards. So the scenarios will be different and made up by different ancient ones and stuff like that. But go and take a look at the walkthrough if you want to kind of get a better sense of the mechanics. But really had a great time with this. Everybody I have a chance to play this with has had an awesome time with it. Very, very unexpected. I really didn't expect much out of this game, but it is very quite different. And I've not really played a kind of cooperative deduction game, really anything like this. The next game I had a chance to play was Era Medieval Age from Matt Leacock and Eggertspale. This is basically like Roll Through the Ages if you play that game, but with a much more beefed out components. You take some dice, you roll a bunch of dice. Anything with a skull, you've got to set aside and lock, and then you can roll whatever's left. You do that a couple of times, and you get what's left. And then that's going to generate resources, allowing you to build buildings and different farms and walls and all kinds of stuff. And all the buildings will either like give you new colored dice that will give you different kind of resources, and or you score your points or generate goods and all this kind of stuff. And then what you're trying to do is build up like kind of walled in territories, because you can see all the buildings here are all walled in. Those are going to score double points. Those are going to be safe from some of the calamities and disasters and things like that. But obviously the walls take up a lot of space on your board. So you're trying to really kind of have a balancing act of all of that kind of thing that's happening. And so you roll your dice behind a screen. Everybody does it simultaneously. You reveal. Everybody will generate resources. You've got to feed each of your dice. So each of your dice is like a population. So you need food for that. The gray dice are like attack dice. And so what's going to happen there is you reveal. And so if you have swords more than other players, anybody that you have more swords than, you can extort a resource out of them, but you can also roll shields and things like that. Then you start to get better dice that's just going to roll you straight up culture points. And there's disasters and things kind of like Roll Through the Ages that you can either apply to yourself or other players. But it's kind of just really kind of a blinged out Roll Through the Ages. But I did quite enjoy the game. The last game that I got to play was a game called Horrified. And this is from the same folks that did the Jaws game. And so what you're doing here is it's a co-op game. And there are all these kind of classic movie monsters that are terrorizing this town. And it plays, okay, if I could be glib about it, it sort of plays like a pandemic style co-op, but there's definitely a little bit more to it than that. Now the real key to the game is all of the asymmetric villains and things. So what you do is you kind of move your character around, collecting items, and you're going to use these items in a variety, very different ways to interact with the different monster villains. And you're trying to save the villagers that kind of pop out, take them to their safe location. Anytime you or a villager gets, quote unquote, killed, then the little track on the left, 0 through 8, goes up. And if you go up too much, then you're going to lose the game. But what players are doing is trying to get these items, and you can see these villain boards here, and they're all very asymmetric, very different, and you're going to interact with them different ways. So Dracula's trying to go around and destroy all his coffins, and then you can defeat him. Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein, you're trying to sort of turn them human and get them in touch with their humanity. And then after that, then you can defeat them. And then for the Creature of the Lagoon here, you're basically playing Candyland with the items, which is really cool. I get a kick out of that. So once you kind of progress this little boat along the track, discarding different color items, then you can defeat the Creature of the Lagoon. So it's pretty straightforward, but I think the theme really comes across, and I did have a lot of fun with it. One thing that was mentioned from some of the players that had a chance to play it several times was that the balance isn't really clear. So if you're playing with 2 players, it's easier than if you're playing with 5 players. But then the way that you control that is starting the game out with a different set of monster villains. So if you're playing with 2 players, you really want to set out 3 or maybe even 4 villains. But if you're playing it with 5 players, maybe you only want to set it out with 2 or 3 villains. So I guess the rulebook isn't quite clear on that, but that seems like a very easy fix to me to kind of tailor. And some of the monster villains seem more or less difficult than others as well. So I think there's going to be some wiggle room there to play with the balance of the game. But once we kind of got our handle on it, it was really fun. It was a fun game, and the theme really kind of came across. Finally, sort of just a kind of anecdotal note here. I had a chance to attend the Rolling Dice and Taking Names meetup at the old Spaghetti Factory. It was a lot of fun. They had about 100 people there. So they play kind of a ad hoc strike tournament at all the tables where everybody eats all their Italian food. And it's just kind of a general fun gathering meetup. I had a great time at that. So if you come to Gen Con next year and you're a fan of their podcast, then definitely, jump in there. There's some other media folks there, myself and Roddy Smith and the Man vs. Meeple folks and some other folks like that are hanging out. And some designers and things. The guys from Restoration Games were there. Berkey from Tabletoppers and all kinds of other folks were there. And it was a lot of fun. And it's just a good camaraderie type atmosphere. And that was it. So anyway, thanks for listening again. And then we'll have some more stuff for you tomorrow. I'll get some more games played and maybe some more little demos and quick video I can grab from the hall. Okay, thanks.